Canada is really big, right? So many tourists, they come, especially from Europe, thinking, oh, everything is so close by. What do you tell people that helps them prepare for a tour across, say, Western Canada?
There's a lot more nothing than you expect. And by nothing, I don't mean that there's nothing, but it will be the same sort of mountains and trees and rivers and lakes than you've ever expected if you've never been to the wilds of Canada, and even not even the wilds, just outside of a lot of the major cities in Western Canada. It doesn't take long before you start to see that it goes on for hours, and it's just massive. And being prepared for how long it can take you to go from point A to point B sometimes, where a lot of folks traveling from Europe, where you jump on a train for a couple of hours and you've passed 3 countries in that time, you won't even get to the next city in some areas.
You won't even find a gas station within those next 2 hours.
If that sign says last fuel for 200 kilometers, and in Canada we do say that, like if it's a long section of uninhabited area, it will say this is the last stop for fuel for the next X number of kilometers. You stop and make sure your tank is filled up there, because it's not saying, no, this company maybe bought this sign to say that's the only one, when it's not. No, it really is. It's a long distance between places depending on where you're going.
When you're traveling, you're driving, usually.
Primarily, I'm a driver guide. It's the style of guide I've preferred being, because I like being in control of the vehicle, and it allows me to adapt the commentary and the conversation I have with my passengers to the surroundings, because what I see, I can help to describe and provide that context for them a little easier, because I'm looking at the same. It's different from being a step-on guide. You don't have the face-to-face connection on the bus as you would normally, but you, as a driver guide, you have a lot more flexibility. So there's more time stopping in areas, side roads, lookouts that you can't really do on the large bus. So there's a lot more time that I would get, maybe not on the bus, chatting with the guests, but actually in front of a vista and a viewpoint that you wouldn't be able to get on some of the larger bus tours.
And are there many hidden gems that people would miss if they were traveling with a major tour company?
Every company has sort of a general outline of where they want to go. And one of the difficulties for some people traveling in the Rockies with a tour company is that there are only certain areas where there are hotels or accommodations. And if you're with a large company with a group, you do have to kind of plan around being where those areas are at. Smaller the tours, the smaller the group, there's more flexibility. But hidden gems, there's lots, and it really depends on which part of Western Canada, for example, that you're traveling to. When I get to design the trips for the guests and work with them, they always want to start off with, Banff, Jasper, Lake Louise, sort of the big 3, and I want to be able to take them there too. But one of the nice things about building those is not just doing a one-way loop around the national parks, but going and then coming back on the Icefields Parkway. Same stretch of highway. It's 283 kilometers.
From Banff to Jasper, I mean.
Banff to Jasper, and then you take the Icefields Parkway. A lot of companies just do a one-way loop.
Yeah. Well,
usually Banff to Jasper, and then they're going somewhere else. If I can, and if I can work with my guests to be able to, or if I can provide the suggestions for them, I want you to start in one end, go to the other end, and then go back. Because that same highway looks completely different when you go the opposite direction. That particular section of highway, there's lots of little lakes and hikes that you can do. You really do need multiple days.